because y'all hurt my heart. If you use trig to find a second side, how would you find the third side in a right triangle, L'Oreal? How do you find the third side, a missing side, if they give you a right triangle? Yes, Pythagorean theorem. Y'all hurt my heart with number 9, talking about some how do I find the hypotenuse. If you know this side is 18 and this side is 23.04, how can you find C? Very good. Very good. A squared plus B squared equals C squared. There are some on your test where I give you a right triangle and you have to find one of the sides first, and then I ask you for the other side. Use Pythagorean theorem. I think I know what you're going to say / ask. I think. How also could you have found C? There's another way. I thought that's what you were going to say. Were you going to say something different? Okay. What'd you say, Ben? Yes. Very good. You could also use trig to find C. If you want this side now, couldn't you do cosine of 52 equals the adjacent over the hypotenuse? Yeah, so you could also do cosine of 52 equals 18 over C to find the hypotenuse. Either way, you'll get the same answer. I'm going to keep it real with you. Once I find the second side, I usually use Pythagorean theorem because for me, that's faster. Like that's something I've been doing since middle school. So what did y'all get for C? Is that what y'all got? 29.24? Perfect. I'm trusting you. Good job, Henry. 29.24. Any questions on ones like that? Okay, so finding a missing angle with a trig ratio. The ratios are still the same. Nobody is changing that. But this time, today, we're going to be looking for angles. So if you look at your examples, we're no longer finding side lengths because you already know two sides. So you could do Pythagorean theorem to find the third side if they asked for you to, right? So what we're going to work on today is finding angles. I don't know why this just froze. Bro. Oh! I hate technology. Throw something to say a bad word. All right, with trig, you only need to know two sides in order to find an angle in a right triangle. If y'all didn't print this and y'all are just writing it in your notebooks, you don't have to write that part, okay? So you're going to do this by determining how the two sides relate to the missing angle. And then same thing as yesterday, we're going to set up an equation using the appropriate trig ratio. But this is going to be the part that's different, y'all. When you are finding an angle, you have to use what's called an inverse trig button, okay? So you don't even really need to write this word ratio. Y'all can just write inverse trig. So my boys at home, if you didn't print this and you're writing, this is what I need you to write. When you're finding a missing angle, you will have to use the inverse trig button in a calculator. So I'm going to go rogue for a second. I just want you to watch. This is nothing that you have to write, okay? Everybody watching? Yes, we're ready to watch. So if you have a triangle, let's say I know this side is 5 and this side is 7, and I want you guys to find this angle right here. The only way you can find that angle is by doing trig. Now let me ask you a question. If I told you this angle at the top was 40 degrees, do you need to do trig? No, this would be 50, right? But if they don't give you two angles and all they give you are two sides, you're gonna have to use trig to find whatever angle they're asking for. It is done the same way as yesterday. So everybody watch. What's your first step? Circle the angle. There we go. All right. So looking at this angle, what two sides do I have? The adjacent is 5 and the opposite is 7. So everybody listen. What trig ratio would we use to find this angle? Don't, tripping on acid tangent. You shouldn't have to look at your pink sheet all the time. You need to know those, like you need to have them memorized for math 3. You don't need to be looking at your sheet. That's why I taught you the saying. Like you should know opposite, adjacent. I'm going to use tangent. Okay. So how would you set up the equation for today? Tangent of what? What's the angle? Exactly. We don't know. It's x. So everybody look. You're going to say tangent of x. You can put parentheses around it if you want. Equals what? 7/5. Opposite over adjacent. Now let's talk about it. You're trying to solve for x, right? Yes? Yes. Okay. So to get x by itself, we need to get rid of this tangent. Does everybody agree? Okay, every year I have a child tell me, okay, so you divide it. Do you think we can sit here and divide by a word? No, you can't. That looks ridiculous. Like makes no sense, okay? You cannot divide by a word. So to get rid of the tangent, you do what's called the inverse tangent. Whenever we're solving an equation, don't we do inverse operations to move things to the other side? So you can't divide by tangent, but to move it to the other side, we're just going to do what's called tangent inverse. Because this, first of all, makes no sense. This is like me saying Miss Poole divided by Haley. What does that mean? Like, you can't divide by a word. Doesn't make any sense. So to do the inverse of tangent, to move it to the other side, so x is by itself, we're just going to say x equals the tangent inverse of 7/5. And that will give you an angle. It's the same thing we did yesterday, but you're trying to find x, and this tangent is going to be attached to it, or the cosine will be attached to it, or the sine will be attached to it, and you've got to move it so you can find x. That means inverse. Have y'all really never seen that before? Oh, that's sad. Okay. It's okay. You should have seen it in middle school, but it's okay. That just means inverse. So they're opposites. So to get x by itself, I did the opposite of tangent to move it to the other side. Is everybody okay with that? Yes. Once you get here, where do you think you can go put that? Desmos. There's a tangent inverse button. Yep. So everything's done the same. Just if x is the angle, you've got to move the trig function to the other side by doing the inverse. Okay? People at home, did that make sense? I hope.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, perfect. So listen, y'all do not need to know all of this stuff in here. You will learn this in Math 3. So if it's okay with y'all, I'm going to skip this whole table because I talked to the Math 3 teachers and some other teachers here who also teach Math 3, and they said that y'all are good to learn that next year. You don't need to know that this year. So we're not going to worry about it, okay? Makes it easier on you, right? Sure. Well, I mean, one less thing. All right, so let's go ahead and do some examples. So it says, find the missing angle measure, round to the nearest tenth. What is step 1? Circle the angle. Don't go night-night. I see you trying to stay awake. You trying hard. Circle the angle. What two sides do we have? Yeah. Good. H and A. The adjacent is 4, and that longest side, the hypotenuse is 7, right? Okay. Don't look at the front of your sheet. I'm glad it's on the front. Everybody listen. Some old hippie, we don't have OH, caught another hippie. That's what we have, right? AH. So caught stands for cosine. Okay, learn that saying. It should help you. So cosine of what? What's the angle? Do we know? You don't know. So you can call it X, you can call it A, you can call it theta, you can call it J. I don't care what you call it. Doesn't matter. If they don't name it and they just put a question mark, make it what you want. I'm going to do theta. So cosine of theta equals, it's caught another hippie. So it's A and then H. So what's the adjacent side? 4/7. We're trying to find the angle, right? So pretend this is an X. It's just a Greek letter, so it's the same thing. How do you get that by itself? What do you need to move, Soraya? We got to move the cosine over. We can't divide it because that's a word. That would be weird. So how do you move it over? You do the inverse. You do the opposite. So theta is just going to be cosine inverse of 4/7. I told you not bad, right? Shouldn't be bad. You should be okay. People at home, are y'all okay with how that's set up?
Yeah.
Okay. So what I'm going to do, if y'all are good with that part, I'm going to switch over to Desmos so you can see which buttons to use, okay? So let's go to Desmos. Look at all my tabs. That is sad / impressive. All 6 of those spreadsheets are where we're leveling Math 1 kids for next week. And by we, I mean me. They said, here, do this. We need it done by Friday. I was like, all right. Yeah. I'm only on last name letter D's as well. There's 430 freshmen for next year. I was like, wow, this is so fun. All right. I don't know why I typed that in. We're trying to do cosine inverse of 4/7, right? Sean, make sure you're looking, babe. So I'm going to go to my keyboard. Y'all can't see it. Let's see. Y'all know where it's at, but I'm still trying to get it where y'all can see it. All right. Go to your keyboard. Click. Go to functions. I'm on trig. And do you see there's the cosine inverse button right there? Okay. What did I forget to do? Very good. I did not change my mode, my people at home, to degree. So I'm not going to get the right answer. So I'm going to go to settings. Change this to degrees. Anytime you open a new Desmos, it automatically sets up in radians. So you got to change it to degrees. Functions, trig, cosine inverse of 4/7. So that angle that we were trying to find is how many degrees? Ooh. Ooh. Can you say that again? 55.2. Make sure you round right. Do I need to be corny? It says 10th on the paper. Yeah? Don't. Why? You know what I'm talking about. The big booties, I don't need to talk about it. We're going to round. Evan's like, Miss Poole, please stop. You're going to round correctly, right? If you mess up on your test because you chose the answer choice that was rounded wrong, that's going to be tough. Make sure you know how to round. So 55.2 degrees. My boys at home, are y'all okay with this? And Viti. Y'all good?
Yeah.
All right. So 55.2 degrees. So let's see if we can set up the second one, and then I'm going to have y'all try the third. So theta equals 55.2 degrees. All right, what's step 1? Circle what? Your angle. Jaden, what would we label 29? Opposite, look at him. Sean, what would we label 31? Adjacent, very good. So let's see who else. Macy, if I have opposite and adjacent, what am I going to use? Very good. Tangent of what? What comes after that? X, A, Z, element OP, don't care. I'm going to do X this time. Tangent of X, because we don't know the angle, equals the opposite over the adjacent. Y'all okay there? How do you get x by itself? Go ahead, Soraya. Inverse. So x, we got to move the tangent. So we're just going to do tangent inverse of 29 over 31. Where do you go to type that in? Desmos. Good. So pretty easy, right? People at home, do y'all have that set up? Are y'all okay if I switch my screen?
I'm good.
All right. I'm going to switch it. All right. So we got to do, all right, tangent inverse of 29 over 31. Did y'all get 43.1 degrees? Yeah? Okay. You're just looking at mine. Oh, you did? Good. Oh, he said I did it before you. Okay. Boy, confident. All right. So y'all try the third example. I'm going to pull it up for my people at home. I'll give y'all 2 minutes. Y'all try C. Good. Okay, they said sine. So circle your angle, opposite hypotenuse. So did y'all do sine of A equals 36 over 41? You can use whatever letter you want if there's no letter. What's wrong, Soraya? This is in the bottom, so the side on the top is opposite. That's the longest side because it's across from the right angle. Does that help? Be careful, don't label that adjacent. All right, so to get the letter by itself, did y'all do the sine inverse of 36 over 41? Now, people at home, I'm sorry my screen was being dumb. I'm hoping it'll hold out just a little bit longer. Sine inverse of 36 over 41. Did y'all get 61.4 degrees? Good job. Any questions on inverse trig? So AKA finding the angles. Sean, you got any questions on finding angles? You're good? People at home, any questions on finding angles? We're not done. And y'all really got to make sure you pay attention on this next part. Are y'all okay? Everybody's good? Going once, going twice. All right, the boys said so. Okay, let's do, I'm going to go out of order if that's okay with y'all. We're going to do number 5 first. So these examples at the bottom, tomorrow for me, you will have a warm-up. I need you to join Zoom for the warm-up because you're probably going to need help on it. And then it's just a practice day. So you're going to have some Pythagorean theorem problems, some trig ratios where you have to use trig to find the sides like we did yesterday, where you have to use trig to find angles. And then the last 5 problems on the practice are like this. So they're multi-step trig problems. I think I put 1 multi-step trig on the homework, but the rest are just finding the angles, which should take y'all no time. Like y'all seem to think that's easier than the sides. Yeah, I agree. It is easier. There's really like no solving to do. You just do the inverse. So I need y'all to look at these multi-step ones though. For number 5, everybody look. We're trying to find this angle down here. Does everybody agree? So step 1, circle your what? Angle. Sean, pay attention, bud. These are hard. Like all of them are different. So I just need y'all to watch and do. Can we find that angle with what they gave us? Why not? Only one what? Good, 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 good. Look, look, look. Didn't we write you need to know how many sides to find an angle? 2. This angle has to deal with this right triangle. I need y'all to remember, trig only works if it's a right triangle. We don't know 2 sides in this right triangle. I think I know what you're going to say. You should be able to find one of those sides. We should be able to find this side right here. Can somebody tell me how? Good. Okay, good. I like what Jordan said first. This side is also the same for this triangle, and I like what my boys on this side of the room said. They said that's a right triangle. You know two sides. So what can we use to find the third? Pythagorean theorem. So a squared plus b squared equals c squared. A squared would be 10 squared. We don't know the b, right? We don't know the x squared. We don't know the other leg. You do know the hypotenuse. What's the hypotenuse? 144. Good. So 100 plus x squared should equal 144. Did I lose anybody? Are y'all sure? You're going to have to be able to look at these and figure out where to start on your own. They're all different. So what would x squared equal? 44. I asked about x squared. So you would subtract the 100 over, right? And then I don't want you to round this, okay? So x would just be, does everybody agree, the square root of 44? I don't need you to simplify it either. You can leave it just like that, because is that what I asked you to find? No. What did I ask you to find? What did we circle? The angle. So now that you know this side is square root of 44, now can we find that angle? Yes. I'm going to pause for a second while they're finishing copying. People at home, are y'all okay? That's a little tricky. Right. Are y'all okay? Maybe?
Yeah.
Maybe not? Okay, Tyler says yes. All right, everybody's good, right? Yeah? Okay. So now to find this angle, let's label our two sides. What is this x side? Yes, but what would you label it? Opposite. Very good. So I'm going to put a big O right here. And what is the 18 in this green triangle? H, the hypotenuse. Yep. So Soraya, I'm going to talk to you, girl. You ready? What equation could I set up if I have O and H? Old hippie. Sine. Good job. So sine of theta equals the opposite. Oh, it's not x, Miss Poole. Which was square root of 44, right? Over, what was the hypotenuse? 18. And then how do you get that angle by itself? Inverse. Good. You got to get rid of the sine. We're trying to find the angle, not anything over here. So you got to do sine inverse to get the angle by itself of square root of 44 over 18. Y'all okay with that? Okay, you gonna see what it is? I'm gonna go put it in too. People at home, do y'all have any questions so far? Or can I go put that in Desmos? These can get a little tricky, so y'all ask me if you got a question.
I'm good.
You're good? All right. Okay. Oh, it should not say undefined. Are you in the right mode? Sine inverse of square root of 44 over 18. I got 21.6 degrees. Yeah? Awesome. I'll come look at yours in a minute. You're probably not typing something in right. So the angle was 21.6 degrees. Any questions on example 5? Y'all are good? Okay. Huh? I cannot hear you. You're not getting a worksheet today. Well, I'm also not done. I don't know why you're asking yet. Okay. Example 4. This one's a little trickier. My kids always struggle with this one. What two triangles do y'all see that could be useful? Because there's three triangles in this picture. Oh, the whole big one. Okay, I like that. I heard Jaden say something else too. So look, the whole big one we can use because that's a right triangle, right? This little one on the side, y'all, that's not going to help you do crap. Is that a right triangle? No, so that's not going to help you. So I see the whole big one. And then Jaden, what did you say? What other triangle would be useful? Yeah, the right triangle on the inside. That's what you said the first time. That boy tired. All right. These two right triangles can help us find x. What, babe? I really cannot hear you. Oh, that is not a midline. Nothing's marked parallel. And nope, not a mid segment. So let me ask y'all a question. Are we trying to find an angle? No, you know your angles that you need, right? You can always find a missing side. I'm going to review with you from yesterday. You can always find a missing side if you know one of the sides and one of the angles. Look at your little pink triangle. Don't we know a side and an angle? Look at your big green triangle. Don't we know a side and an angle? Okay, so what do you think we could do to help us find this x down here? I need some ideas. No. Okay, pause. Why y'all telling me angle, side, angle, and congruence crap? None of these triangles look the same. Don't guess. We're using trig to find missing sides or angles. Y'all just told me we need to find a missing side. You keep saying plug it in. I don't know what you're talking about. Plug what in? Yeah, you're on the right track. Okay, which triangle do you want to start with? That would be a great thing to decide first. I worry about y'all because y'all look at this and you just start saying crazy stuff. Remember, we said we're going to use the two right triangles and we're trying to find a side. So if we're looking at the big one and x is on the bottom, then what y'all are telling me is we'll find this side right here. Okay, that sounds good. That's a good game plan. Some angle, side, angle, babies. Lord Jesus. All right. Circle your angle that you can use for the big triangle. So what angle would that be? 36. And then Henry said, using this 36, we know the opposite side is 7. And then we know this big side right here would be the what? Adjacent side. Good. Are y'all okay if I call it A since it's adjacent? Is that fine with everybody? All right, so what would this whole length be? What equation could I set up to find A? Tangent of what? 36. Some of y'all look really confused, but I don't know how to help you unless you ask me a question. Tangent of 36 equals 7 over A. Very good. And that'll tell you the whole bottom length. Don't act shocked. This is what we did yesterday. You should be okay with solving for A. So how do I solve for A right here? You multiply by A. Thank you, Lorio. We ain't finding angles on this one, so there should be no inverses. That's where y'all will mess up. And now how do I get A by itself? There you go. Divide the tangent. Very good. So if you go type in 7 divided by tangent of 36, that should tell you what A should be. If it's okay with y'all, I'm going to do it in a calculator instead of Desmos just so I don't have to switch my screen. 7 divided by tangent of 36. Did y'all get an answer? I don't want to go too fast. Type it into Desmos. Don't just wait for me because I need y'all to check me. Because I'll be typing stuff in wrong half the time. What'd you get? Henry, I cannot see that far. Did you get that? Yeah. Perfect. All right. I got 9.63. Oh, okay. But it says round to the tenths. So 9.6. Okay, did you guys at home, did y'all get that the longest side, this A side was 9.6? Okay, that's the whole base of the triangle, right? Is everybody with me? That's the whole base. What can we find now that could help us find this little piece X? Ooh, what's the middle base? The base to what color triangle? A pink one. Everybody look at your pink one. If we find this base right here and we know the total, can't we find this piece that's missing? Yeah, exactly. So look, we got to find this pink base right here. So I'm going to call this B if that's okay with y'all. Is that good with everybody? So again, I circled my angle. We've got the opposite side and the adjacent side again. So what are we going to use again, L'Oreal? Tangent. Good. So did y'all get for this one, if you set up an equation? I know this is different. Some of y'all have really big eyes or like scrunchy eyebrows right now, so I need you to ask me a question. Who did I lose? I'm going to pause for a second. All right, I'm going to keep going then. Tangent of 52 would equal what? Good job. 7 over B, and we want to solve for B, so how do I do that? Multiply by B, and then we're going to end up doing what, Soraya? Look at tan of 52. Yes. Very good. So 7 divided by tangent of 52 will give me that little base. You okay, Evan? Okay. Go type it in. 7 divided by tangent of 52. Oh, hang on. I haven't done it yet. All right, I think I'm getting what they got though. Has everybody had a chance to type it in? No? Yes? Did you get 5.5? Good. Okay, so y'all look. If the whole base is 9.6 and this little part is 5.5, what would X be? 4.1, and that would be your final answer. X would equal 4.1. I know that's a lot. You've got one like that on your test. Any questions on finding angles, finding sides, or multi-step trig question? On your Delta Math, I think there might be one, but I honestly cannot remember. But tomorrow when you come in, your warm-up has like 4 of those. Because I need you to know how to do them because there are several on your test. Yeah. Yeah, for tomorrow. And then there's 5 on your practice. Listen, my honors kids normally have a quiz just on this. And they normally don't do very well. So you're lucky you're in a pandemic. All right, hang on one second. I'm going to stop the recording and then I'll answer questions. Do y'all have any questions before I stop? Your classwork is in Delta Math. If you need help with any trig stuff, there's tutoring today. If you need help with this multi-step stuff, you might want to come to tutoring. I can give you some examples.